Welcome home, where we provide information, inspiration, and motivator after motivator after motivator here on America's Next. I have Naomi Williams here with me today. How you doing, Naomi?
I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Happy to have you here tonight. I
Thank
want to say
you.
hello to everybody who's tuning in, whether you be on Roku TV, Apple TV, Android TV, Facebook, or YouTube. It means a lot to me that you're here tonight. It also means a lot that we are active inside of this hour. So please like, share, subscribe, be active in the chat, make a comment. If we're talking about something that resonates with you, make a comment, ask a question, be a part of this hour. It means a lot to the algorithms, and it means a lot to us here on the show. Naomi, where are you from?
I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, born and raised.
Wow, you from Cleveland. Okay, where were you born in Cleveland?
I was born in, should I say the hospital I was born or?
Sure, whichever you.
I was born in Hillcrest Hospital.
Okay, now were you raised on the east side or the west side of Cleveland?
East.
What was it like for you growing up on the east side of Cleveland? By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're from Cleveland, drop a one in the chat. Let us know that you're in the building. Drop some ones in the chat if you are familiar or if you're from Cleveland, Ohio. Naomi, you said you're from the east side. What was it like for you as a child growing up on the east side of Cleveland?
Well, as far as my parenting, that was fine. Like the way I was raised was great. But as far as growing up, as far as my peers, that was rough for me growing up.
Okay. Now, when you say that the way that your parents raised you was great, what do you mean by that?
Okay. My father is a pastor. He's 83, by the way. So okay. I have an older father, so he already knew how to guide me and take me where I needed to go. My mom she passed away at 56 years old. My parents were married for 25 years. They broke up when I was 5 years old, but I still had some type of guidance between the two of them, whether they worked out or not.
Right.
So that's what I mean by that. I mean, when I say guided every step of the way, okay? And with my father being a pastor, I had women in the church. You know how they say, it takes a village to raise a child? Well, I was the child that had a village, okay? So I had women in the church. I had my grandmother. I had my mom. I had my dad. And they pretty much molded me into the young lady that I am today.
How did it feel for you watching your father give sermons in the pulpit when you were at church?
Proud. Reason why I say proud is because he didn't give his personal opinion. He told you what was in that book. Whether you wanted it or not, if you came to him, you were going to get what he said, what the Bible said, not what man said.
Right.
So, and to this day, I'm very proud of where I come from. I tell my father this all the time. Like, I am very proud of who he is and how he raised me. So.
Do you have siblings?
I have 3 siblings. One passed away. I'm the youngest. Okay. So if my father's 83, so my siblings are one is in their 50s and the other ones is in their mid 40s. And the other one that passed away, he might have been in his mid 50s when he passed. He passed away from pancreatic cancer.
Yeah.
So that was yeah.
So now what was elementary school like for you, given that people have a lot of different thoughts on, you know, somebody being a pastor's child, and a lot of people, they might make assumptions on what your experience was, but I want you to give us your perspective. What was elementary school like for you? What was going on?
It was rough. And the reason why I say it was rough is because I came from a different background from other children. I was well dressed. My hair was done. I was clothed at best. My father took me to school every day. And that alone would be a recipe for a disaster for children that don't have that. So naturally, you would be a target because they don't have that situation. They don't have that guidance. You know what I mean? So
So did you find yourself at odds with the other kids because maybe they didn't have what you had, maybe they didn't eat last night, and here you are, you ate 3 times since last night.
I did. But also, I didn't, when you're young, you're not thinking about what other people are going through. You have no idea what other people are going through.
That's right.
I personally was too young to understand if they had a struggle. I didn't know. All I knew is my upbringing. And so my upbringing brought strife from other children, which caused fights and hatred.
Okay. Elementary school is a hostile environment because there's a lot of different elements going on in elementary school. A lot of kids, they have conflicted environments, dysfunctional environments, and sad to say that if you're just in the general population of Cleveland, that's a normal story. That if you have both parents in your life, and your home life was stable, you ate properly, you were clothed properly, that you were uncommon, more than common.
Yeah. You're a target.
Right. You're a target.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you say that that's tragic in our communities, that the people who are potentially healthy are a target?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
They do it to my daughter to this day. I tell her all the time, I've been through exactly what you're going through. If you have a lot of hair and another young lady doesn't have hair, or you got more young ladies of our community that don't have hair, they pick on you. That was the same thing I went through. Like I said, I had a lot of hair, and I had my father making sure that I was at the hairdresser every 2 weeks. So that's a recipe for disaster in its own for a child that doesn't have that.
That's right.
So
would you say that these different attributes, whether it be envy, anger, hatred, jealousy, are these symptoms of some form of illness in our community?
I would say so. It's definitely a disorder that instead of us fighting against each other, why don't you ask your sister, like, how did you do that? Like, what did you do to get your hair to grow? Or what did you do to overcome an obstacle? You become a target because you overcame the obstacle that they don't want to deal with. In our community, we don't want to deal with issues. We want to be in a pure delusion, like it's not going on. And that's a problem. We need to fix the problem. The problem is you got to say, okay, I'm going through this. How do I fix it? I fix it by dealing with it first, right? And then the only way you can overcome is dealing with it and moving forward. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you something. How did we get here? How did the community get in this place where we are pretty much eating ourselves? Not all of us. Everybody doesn't participate in this, but there are a lot of us who are participating in having each other for lunch. To be frank, how do we get here?
Well, it starts in our homes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first place it starts in. And I understand that we all don't have the same backgrounds and we don't grow up the same. But I feel like after you have dealt or been in certain situations, you should be able to tell someone else, like, hey, that didn't work out for me. So it's really no excuse. That's why I don't give our brothers and sisters excuses. Because at the end of the day, if you've gone through something, you can help somebody else. And we choose not to. We choose to sit back and watch them burn. And I don't like that. I personally, if I go through something, if I had a child with someone who didn't work out, I would tell a sister that don't have kids, hey, make sure that who you have a child with is who you want to be with, and y'all want to be together. That way, you don't have a broken home.
That's right. I agree with you. I don't like it. I don't like it either when we refuse to share our stories, when we refuse to share our experiences with others in order to help the whole. I don't like that either. I do see where you're coming from when you say at this point we have to look at ourselves for more accountability. I know people use accountability a lot, but in this conversation, accountability means sharing your learned experiences with other people so that they learn how to grow up out of that same stuff. That's what accountability is in this conversation. So the word is not old tonight. The word is relevant tonight.
Right.
Accountability. How many of us, how many of us is deciding to share our story, our experiences from what we're going through to help other people?
Not
Because
many.
now, go ahead, go ahead.
It's not many of us. And
Mhm.
it saddens me because I'm 31 years old. So I should be able to tell a woman that's coming in 20, 21, 15. I mean, we go through transitions in our teenage years that we should be able to help somebody with. At 31 years old, I don't want to hear excuses from you. I want to see you helping somebody else. And unfortunately, with women in general, I think that they have a jealousy of another young lady's youth. Instead of saying, "Hey, sister, that's not okay to do." I feel like, I can't stop you from doing what you're doing, but let me explain to you my experience and why that didn't work for me. Now you can do what you want to do, but at least I told you the outcome. At least I told you my outcome. And that's my goal in life, is to make sure that I express to the young ladies behind me what my outcome was in certain situations.
That's right. You're talking about the world changing and how we need to be members of the world change. Gone are the days where we could just live our lives quietly while everybody else either perishes or goes the wrong way. Gone are those days because our numbers are changing, and we
Yeah.
have to do something about it. Our numbers in all different types of categories are changing, and they're not always changing for the better. A lot of times they're changing for the worse because we're not speaking out. We're not sharing our stories, and so you're talking about a new culture of recycling our experiences. I want you guys to walk with me for a minute. Walk with me. Look at the recycling of industries and what it does for that industry. See, when you use a plastic water bottle, if you just throw it in the trash and it lands in the ocean, then now you're killing the whales and then you're polluting the water and now you're polluting the people. But when you take that plastic bottle and then you recycle it and you refine it, then you can use it again. Now you're getting value out of that used plastic bottle over and over and over. And that's what we have to do with our experiences in life. We have to recycle them. If you go through something, don't just let it be lost in the ethers of space. Take it and go find out who else needs that plastic bottle of a lesson that you learned.
And to any women that is in this live, I want to know, do you tell people the truth, or why don't you? What is your reasons for not telling other young ladies what your experiences are? You don't have to be embarrassed about what you went through, because what you go through only makes you stronger as a person. I personally, everything that I have ever went through, I've always won in the end. It's always been a victory. It's never been a defeat. So I'm never going to, I have nieces, I have nephews, I have great nephews. I mean, I'm the youngest, so I have great nephews and great nieces. And I would never, ever not tell them the truth. And it's not to harm them. I mean, the sad part about our community is they want to take it as like you coming at them, but it's only to help. Stop repeating the cycle of your parents. Stop repeating the cycle of your grandparents. Do something different. And even if you did repeat the cycle, right? Don't encourage somebody else to repeat the cycle that you did.
That's right. So hold on. What I'm hearing from you tonight is that women, specifically from your experience, They are envious of one another. They are jealous of one another, and they're not helping one another, and they're not teaching one another.
They are not.
Let's make it clear.
And I'm talking about our community.
Right. Okay.
I've had my own personal experiences. It's like when they see me, it's like it reminds them of what they are not.
Hold on. We got a couple comments in the building.
Okay.
Ani King Riley says more older women should be more supportive of younger women, even women outside of their own family. And so obviously women are feeling what you're saying tonight. Drop a 1 in the chat if Naomi Williams is speaking on a valuable topic tonight, which is women are not helping one another. They're not passing the knowledge down. And we just have generational dysfunctions happening, so that when your young lady is in school and she's been washed and clothed and fed properly, she's being attacked for that. And the culture that has to change. Naomi is saying that our women are not working together. They're not appreciating each other. And it sounds like you're not alone in that perspective. Julian Taylor says facts.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, Ani King Riley says, I'm feeling what you're saying. I'm the change I want to see in my life. And it sounds like, Naomi, that you are the change that you want to see in your life as well. So what is your message to the woman who is upset, angry, not helping no other woman? What do you say to them tonight?
What I would say is I hope that one day you would change your perspective. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, I'm not your enemy. I haven't done anything to you. Young women haven't done anything to you. I didn't make the decisions that you made in your life. That's something that you have to correct. A lot of times we do not address our issues. We want to act like, that's what I mean with the delusional part of who we are, right? Because like I said, in order to get past something, you got to go through it. We all go through stuff. We all cry. We all bleed. We all go to the bathroom. Okay. We are human. That's right. So at the end of the day, you cannot put a Band-Aid, put a Band-Aid over the wound and move on. You have to address your issues. It is what it is.
What do you say to the young lady out there tonight who's trying to figure out how to become a mature woman? She has no idea, or she has a couple ideas, but she needs more information. What are the top 3 things that you would say to a young woman? She might be 16. Go ahead.
First, what I would ask you is, what age group? Are we talking 15? Because I would talk to a teenager a little different than I would talk to someone that's 21. So okay. What age group?
Okay, first let's talk to the 15-year-olds, and then let's talk to the 21-year-olds. And in the second half of the show, we're gonna talk to 30 and up. How about that?
All right. So I have a 16-year-old niece, and I talk to her all the time, and I tell her, because that's an age where you're trying to figure out life, you want to work. You like boys, but you don't, I tell her all the time, do not give yourself up. Okay. It's precious. Save yourself. And honestly, I don't feel like a man or a young man is ready for you until about 30. and that's, I'm just being realistic. Some men are ready at 25, some aren't. It just depends. You need to learn people before you date.
That's a good one. Hold up, that's a good one. Learn people before you date. That's great. What does that mean for a 15-year-old or somebody who's just getting into dating? That's a great thing to talk about. What does that? How do you learn someone before you date? Because I know some women, they just get to Googling you, they get to looking at your social media, and they come up with a conclusion. Is that good enough?
Lots of conversation. You need to know where their mental is. Where do they want to go when they're 18? Where do they want to go to college? What do you want? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Young ladies kind of have some sort of what they want, just a little bit. Not all the way, but young ladies are a little bit more mature than a 15-year-old girl is more mature than a 15-year-old boy. Because we all know that 15-year-old boys just want to hump everything in sight. And I'm not saying all of them, but let's just, if I want to put a percentage, it's like a 95% chance that most young 15-year-old boys, they in puberty, they're hot. Not saying that young girls aren't hot too, but they're not as hot as the boys are. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So I would want for a 15-year-old girl to first figure out what she wants. Get you a job, start working, finish high school, and talk to people. Find out where they are mentally. Are they mentally compatible with you as a friend first? Do they care about you as your friend? Or are they just trying to get in your pants? You need to figure that out.
What do you say? What do you say to the 21-year-old woman? She's just now getting of legal age. What do you say to her?
I would say don't have children until you're married. I would say focus on what you want out of life instead of a boy or a man. Or I would say figure out what makes you happy. Figure out who you are. Because from ages 18 to 25 is a learning of who you are. So you can date, ask questions, figure out where they at mentally, and figure out who you are as well. And please, let's stop giving ourselves to everybody. Don't be the young lady that's 21 and by the time you're 26, you got so many bodies that you can't figure out who was who. You don't even know who your child's father is. Let's stop that narrative. It's not cute. It's really not. We are not men. At the end of the day, I really get sick of women trying to compare ourselves to a man. We are not a man. We are not equal to you all. Okay? And that's the bottom line. The bottom line is learn yourself. When you learn yourself, nobody can trick you into anything. So
What was your relationship like with your mother? And beyond that, who were some of the women that you looked up to as you grew up?
okay, so I'm gonna be honest with you. I was a little upset with my mother because like I said, my parents were together for 25 years. When I was 5, they divorced. Um, I was upset with her because I feel like my father is great. I mean, I was very young, but I kind of was upset with her about that. Like, why would you not stay with my dad? Why wouldn't you why wouldn't you stay with him to be, raise me together? I mean, she remarried. I really didn't care for who she remarried. I mean, like who she married. It was just a lot of different things. And she taught me things, don't get me wrong. I mean, my musical side comes from my mother. I learned how to cook from my mother, but it was just the fact that I could not get over the fact that I have this great father, and why are you not with him? What are you doing?
Yes. Who are some of the women that you admired who probably were, out there in celebrity world or, public figures? Did you admire any of them?
No.
Okay. Any women that you did admire though that you care to mention?
My grandmother. I had women in the church. I'm gonna just name some of those names. I called one of the we call her Mother Gant, and Sister Vera. They taught me how to be a young lady as well. Like they showed me how to cook certain things. They told me that I should keep myself and why it was sacred to keep myself. They spent a lot of time they both spent a lot of time with the youth community in the church. And I can respect that. And they didn't pull punches. They were honest about what they went through. They both were married as well. That's another thing too. We often don't see a lot of married women that are happy. But they were happily married and they were willing to teach you whatever you needed to know. And that was important to me. And I'll never forget it. And they're no longer here with me. but they're here with me in spirit forever. So
That's right. I find it interesting that in your life, you had the experience of older women passing down wisdom and knowledge. And today you are an example. You are holding the line of the tradition of women raising women. And I appreciate you speaking out the way that you're speaking out tonight, because it's a pleasant and much needed reminder of what we could be doing in our communities that maybe we're not doing everywhere. And so I appreciate that. As we head into the break, I just want to know, what was high school like for you? Were you outspoken the way you are today?
always been this way.
Okay.
Anybody that knows me knows that I am this way. I've never changed my character. I've always been like I said, I was around older people and they don't do that. You don't do that, you know. And so I was like, friend, you shouldn't do that.
Mhm.
But I mean, people don't listen. So I mean, it's like now what they say, I've heard perfect Patty. I've been called perfect Patty. I've been called every name out the book because of wanting better for us as a community. We are a joke.
Wow.
And are we not?
Well,
We are a joke. And first, in order for us to be respected, we have to address the real issues that we have with ourselves first. We blame everything on the oppressor, and it's let's put that to the side. It's us.
ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Naomi Williams. She says we are a joke. Hold that, think about it, and stick around for the second half of the show, because we're going to talk about more issues that maybe we've not been talking about. They're going to be put on the table tonight inside this hour on America's Next Motivator. Y'all sit tight. America's Next Motivator, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. America's Next Motivator, hosted by me, Cedric Riley, sponsored by the Pride Empowerment Network. And we're back. Naomi, how you feeling out there?
I'm feeling great.
That's good. When you begin to let the world know that you are somebody who's going to speak out, those are honorable shoes to fill, and those are shoes that we need to be filled. And it sounds like you're stepping into those shoes tonight by saying, "Hey, we're being looked at as a joke."
We portray ourselves as a joke. I mean, it's the truth.
Talk to us about another issue that we need to speak about that we're not talking about enough.
We don't talk enough about, I think everything is a rush. Okay. Yeah. I feel like we rush everything, and by the time you look up, you have ruined your life. One mistake can ruin you. That's why it's important when you make a mistake to not keep repeating the same mistake over and over and over and over. And that's something that we constantly do as people. And then we want to be taken seriously when we don't take ourselves serious enough.
Right.
Okay, so another thing is we scream Black Lives Matter, right? But Black lives don't matter to each other. And the reason why I say that, because if you have the mindset of mind your business, I don't got nothing to do with you. Does a Black life really matter to you? If I mind my business, do you really matter to me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We glorify when a celebrity dies. Oh, rest in peace, rest in peace. But you don't care about the person that's standing next to you. What sense does that make? And I get aggravated with our people because the state of the delusion that they're in, it bothers me. I try to wake them up a little bit, and now they want to get into a verbal altercation. And I'm not leveling down to the foolishness. I'm just trying to make what you're saying make sense. Because 9 out of 10, it doesn't make sense what you're saying. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I hear what you're saying, and I also agree that we need to, a lot of us, not all of us, enough of us need to begin to focus more on what's actually happening in our communities. The fact that we are killing one another. We are disrespecting one another. We are disregarding the lives of our own people, sometimes our own family, completely disregarding their lives. And so we need to begin to have conversations, events, cultural experiences that can start to address those types of things. You know, the conversations that put you to sleep. Because we're talking about consciousness, we're talking about waking up, and it makes you sleepy. It makes you tune out because you'd rather be consuming entertainment. We need to have the tough conversations without falling asleep about.
Let me also say this. Entertainment gets you 5 kids by 5 different men.
Mm.
And you justify that. But it's not cute. It's not cute to continue to give yourself, at the end of the day, I keep saying this, we are not equal to a man, okay? The more you give yourself, what do you have left?
Let me ask you something. For those women who say, or men who say, a woman has a lot left, even if she's had multiple partners. I want you to explain what you mean when you say that a woman is not equal to a man. Are you saying that when it comes to sex, there's two different there's two different expectations when it comes to sex?
I'm saying in general, women need protection from men. If all hell broke loose right now, can a woman protect herself? I'm asking you a question. Can we protect, if we were out here in the wilderness, could we really protect ourselves? That's number one. So that shows you that we're not equal to you all. We need protection from you. Mm-hmm. And no, you shouldn't continuously give yourself to people who are not deserving of you if you have worth.
Men need to do a better job of protecting our women.
Women should want to be protected because we're in a feminist, womanist world where I'm independent. I can do everything on my own. When really, it's not good for us. God created us for a reason. He created you for a reason, and He created me for a reason. I don't have the same role as you, right? You know what I'm saying? My role is different from yours, and for some reason, we have curved into the role of a man that we don't need you, and that's a lie. We need you all.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That I don't know why we keep. I don't need no man. Okay, well if you don't, okay. I'm not gonna argue with a woman who says she don't need one. Go out there in the wilderness and see if you need a man or not.
We can't get so distracted by the narratives in the media that we start to think that we don't need one another. We can't be so distracted by what's going on out here as somebody coming out with a new song or a role that they portray in a movie that we think that a woman being so independent that she doesn't need me, that's okay. you know, and vice versa. I'm totally listening to what you're saying tonight. Women should want to be protected. They should have an idea. Talk to me about what a woman. What do you think a woman is? Okay, wanting to be protected, that's one aspect. But for those people who say, well, what is it? What is a woman supposed to be in your eyes?
A woman is nurturing. A real woman should be nurturing to her children and to her man, because regardless of the fact, his mother was nurturing to him. So he's looking for his wife to be nurturing just like the mother. I'm not saying breastfeed him. That's not what I'm saying. Right. I'm saying his mama made sure he ate. His mama made sure he was good. And he needs the same thing from his wife. It's the same thing. I mean, when a man, his first, just like for a young lady, her first love is her father. A man's first love is his mom. Or a mother figure, whatever mother figure that he had, right? So you naturally search for that. Mm-hmm. Just like a woman naturally searches for what she had as a role model for a man.
And you know what? I'm picking up what you're putting down right here, because there's a lot of talk right now about gender roles and how they could be undone and rearranged. And what you're saying is that it's okay for us to have an idea of what a woman should be doing and what a man should be doing. And it gets dangerous when we start crisscrossing it and saying, oh, well, a woman could be here and she can also be here and she can also be there, because we fall apart when we feel like we don't need each other. And the same thing goes for a man. So you're saying that the social construct of what a man should be and what a woman should be is okay.
Yeah. We need each other. In the 50s and 60s, that's why I said, you remember when I told you I was born in the wrong generation?
Yeah. Yeah. What do you mean by that?
What I mean is, in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, women and men needed each other. We needed each other to survive through what we had to deal with other people. We cared more for each other. We respected each other more. A brother was a brother to a sister. I mean, it had nothing to do with sex. It was the husband was the husband to the wife. And you didn't know if your husband was going to get lynched when he walked out that door. So you cared enough to make sure that he knew that he was loved.
That's right.
Vice versa. We take a lot of time for granted. We think that we got 5 years to plan certain things. That's not true. You should take moment by moment, day by day, hour by hour. You don't know if you're gonna make it. And at the end of the day, you shouldn't be thriving off of foolishness.
That's right. I appreciate you coming on this stage tonight. And one thing that I am deliberately not doing is trying to speak for men while you're speaking about women. I'm respecting the fact that you're addressing your peers tonight, and that doesn't need to be juxtaposed with me talking about men every step of the way. You're talking to the women tonight. That is necessary and is different from a lot of what's going on out there. I'm respecting you as a voice in the room on behalf of women, speaking to women. And I think that's phenomenal. If you support what Naomi Williams is talking about tonight, drop a 1 in the chat tonight, because this is what we need as well. As many men you see coming out to talk to men about men and young boys, we also need women to step up to the plate to talk to women about young girls and the community at large. Let's go.
I will also say this. Sometimes I watch different YouTube channels, and I see a lot of women disrespecting their husbands.
Okay.
And I feel like whatever differences you have with your husband, that's between y'all. It's not for social media. Stop disrespecting your husband. That is your husband. You married him. Just like even with the child's father, stop disrespecting that man. That's who you chose to have a child with. Whether he's good or not, You don't go to social media and talk about them because you're only making yourself look crazy. You chose that man. I made mistakes. I chose the wrong person as far as having a child with, but I would never disrespect him on social media. My issues with whoever I had a child with is between me and that person. And my voice is to speak to the next sister to not make the same decisions that I made. Make a better one.
That's right. Make a better decision. The challenge we're starting here tonight. Be respectful of your fellow sister. Be respectful to your relationship. Is there any other topic that you feel is an elephant in the room in our community that needs to be addressed? I'm gonna give you a couple seconds to think about it. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to look Naomi up. Follow her, listen to the discussions that she generates on social media. She does this on a regular basis. She asks thought-provoking questions to the community, and then she gets in the comments with them and has conversations. This is somebody that we need to put an eye on, because these are the types of conversations that we need to be having, and we need to uphold people like her who are saying, hey, no, I'm not anybody's celebrity. I'm not out here praising anybody's celebrity. I am a homegrown woman expressing from my perspective where we need to go. I see we got a couple comments in the chat. Julian Taylor says we need part 2. You know, Julian Taylor is hyped in here tonight. He's supporting you. You know, so now what is your idea of what we need to do as a collective going forward? What do we need to do next?
First, we need to before we start dating or when we start dating, mentally find out, are we compatible? Okay. That's 1. 2, let's stop procreating with everybody. Okay. I'm really, brother, you don't understand how sick of it I am of I'm a woman. So I tell guys all the time, like, nobody can be more aggravated than me, because men think that all women are the same. And I'm not.
Hold up. Let me think about that. We got a couple men in the building. If you think that all women are the same, drop a 1 in the chat. I don't think all women are the same, so I can't. But I hear what you're saying, and I want you to continue that train of thought. Go ahead.
The reason why I say that, because if they knew what type of caliber of women certain women are, they wouldn't even try to talk to them in that way. That's what I mean by they feel like all women are the same. Now,
So, for example, you're talking about the woman who is clearly taking care of her business, who pulls up to the gas station to go and get gas, and the brother is standing outside. He might be smoking a Black and Mild. He might be just hanging out.
And he might have his pants down. He might. Yeah. I mean, you smell like alcohol, and you think that I personally want to talk to you.
Right. That's what you mean. Okay.
And I always say this too, like, it's categories. I think that we all have had situations where it's like, I'm offended that you're trying to talk to me. Like, why do you think that you have a chance? Mm-hmm. Because there's a standard.
That's right.
I feel like it's okay for me to have a standard. I feel like it's okay for you to have a standard, right?
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Emery Curry is in the building. He says that's not true for all men. Never say all. What do you think about using the word all when we have conversations about our communities? If you notice throughout this conversation, I've said several times, we're not talking about everybody. Right. What do you think about when it comes to being helpful, not using the word all?
I think that's something I can work on, because I'm not all women. I'm not the same as all women. So you're absolutely right. It's not about all, but it's a nice amount of people. Just like
from your perspective, you see it happening, so it's real.
It's real. I mean, I don't mean to offend anyone. That's never my goal. My goal is to open eyes.
Let me ask you this: Is it okay? Is it okay for us to accept that there are different levels to people and situations, that everybody can't be everything to everybody? Is that cool, or do we say no? There's no such thing as levels. Everybody could be, everything could work out.
I'll say if you experience certain things and you can help somebody and you choose not to, it's not okay. I'm not giving anybody a pass that has lived life and chooses not because I hear this a lot from our community is, well, if it don't have anything to do with me, then I don't care. But then those are the same people that scream that a Black life matters. As long as you are able to help someone, that's what it's about. It's not about anything other than that. It's about, I experienced this, whether you were raised right or not. If you experience something and you can help somebody, that's what I'm holding you accountable for that.
That's right.
And that's it.
Do you feel that the relationship between men and women is the key to our success as a people?
Absolutely. I feel like okay, let me explain something to you. I have a fiance, right? And it's not anything that I go through that I don't talk to him about and he can help me with. And that's what I'm saying. Our men, we need them. They are our leaders. Whether you want to rectify it or whether you want to admit it or not. Our men with their head on their shoulders. I'm not talking about, you slept with Johnny over here and it didn't work out. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you pick the right man and you seek advice. We need them. It's important.
That's
it's
right.
Nothing that I talk about that I don't ask him, like, babe, do you think am I doing too much? Like, am I too harsh on our people? How should I go about this? I always constantly ask him, how can I be better? What do I need to do to be a better woman?
So being in an effective relationship allows you to be a reflection of your husband or your fiance, and your fiance to be a reflection of you. So y'all are like mirrors of one another, and it sounds like you use your fiance as a mirror for you.
Absolutely. Honestly, as funny as this may sound to other people, he always said this, like, babe, you were always smart, but I needed you to channel, instead of taking things and getting upset about it, I needed you to use your brain. And now I got you to use it the way I needed you to use it. He's helped me so much. I can never discredit my fiance ever on how much he has helped me grow as a woman and as a leader to other women. He's always helped me.
This is really, really cool. Cedric Duke Jr. is in the building. He says that's dope. That's dope AF. And you all know what AF means. And he's excited at the value of the conversation that we're having tonight. How does our world change? How does our world change when we begin to use one another as mirrors? We say, what does my reflection look like to you? Am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? How do I adjust? And you're talking to the person that you're in a relationship with. And then guess what? They come to you and they ask for the same reflective advice. How does our world change when a woman says, I'm going to shine bright? We know that God gave me that, but I'm also going to reflect at this man. He's going to show me where I can shine a little bit brighter or where my imperfections might be so that I can continue, to be brilliant. We got a comment from Emery Curry. He says, none of us know all, so maybe or most, some because will always depend on your experiences. And so that's what we talked about. And so everybody out there, be encouraged that the relationship is a powerful tool in order for us to rectify our communities, to correct our perspective. They say the things that happen in the community, they start in the home. Just like Naomi said at the beginning of the show. In the home should always be some man and woman reflecting off one another. And in that way, we become a reflection of that which we desire. So now, what do you see in your own future? Who do you desire to be? What is the legacy that you desire to leave? Since you are speaking out and you are transitioning to standing out.
Well, I always used to say this. When I've been working in the medical industry for years, and I always used to tell even coworkers that I see my life does not begin or end at a desk. It begins and ends with helping the next young lady to be the best that she could be, to find a husband, or let her husband find her, should I say. Mm-hmm. Let your husband find you, and to help somebody else, whatever experiences you go through, because we all bump our heads. I mean, reality is nobody is a perfect person.
That's right.
You bump your head, but you don't continue to keep making that same mistake and expecting a different result.
Let me ask you this. Any thoughts on the woman who's not married or the man who's not married? What in your perspective is value that they can add to the community?
Do they have children? I mean, we gotta specify. I like to be very clear.
Mm-hmm. So whether or not they have children, I would say, okay, but are you speaking up about your experiences?
Exactly.
You know, to your point, that's what you've been saying all night, is how we need to express ourselves. So even if you're not married, are you expressing yourself?
And also, do not hate a younger sister for her youth. I mean, you had the same opportunity at the end of the day. Help guide her. Say, that didn't work for me. I can respect a person more if they say, hey, that didn't work for me. I'm not married. I want to be, but I made so many bad decisions that it didn't work for me. And hopefully God still blesses me in the end. But don't do that. That's what I respect. But our older women, they push you into foolishness. They want to see it. They sit back and wait. Like, they're like, oh my God, I can't wait. I can't wait till she messes up her life. I'm living proof of that. I've seen it. I've seen it from people that I worked with that were my people, that wanted to see me fall. I couldn't believe it because I didn't do anything to them. But
Let me ask you this. And everybody who's a part of this episode, if you want to drop a comment in the chat, please do so. Are we afraid of success? Do we have fear of success? Could that be part of the reason why so many people are holding back, hating on one another, not helping one another out? Are we afraid of the day where you look down your block and it's nothing but bona fide, beautiful, beneficial women and bona fide, men who are adding value to the community? Are we afraid of that day? Are we fearful of success?
I think we are. I think we're fearful of success of others when we failed in our own lives.
Okay. Is there any way to come back if you feel like you failed in your life? Is there any way to come back from that? Is there anything you can do to make it right?
First of all, you should apologize to the people you sabotaged or gave horrible advice to. That's the way you can start. And then moving forward, stop making bad decisions in your own life.
What role does spirituality play in somebody recovering their life?
100%. It's 100% role.
Okay.
Because you can have everything in the world. You can have cars, money, and everything. But if you spiritually broke, you don't have anything. And I stand by that. Because I can have nothing. But if I'm spiritually rich, people see it. I mean, it's something that you don't have to boast about. See, money, people boast about it. They hold it to their ear. They do all kinds of stupid stuff with it. But it's always something about a person that you can't take from. A real person. You can't take real from a person.
That's right.
You can't take character from a person.
That's right. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we are gathering tonight, if you replay this episode, is we have to begin to help each other out. All is not lost if you're not in a relationship, if you're not married, and if you feel like you've messed up your life. Get your spirit right. Do the spiritual work to get yourself back at center. Do the spiritual work of whether it be reading scripture, repairing relationships, so that you can become a proper reflection for somebody else. When you do that, then we all begin to shine a little bit better. We are talking to Naomi Williams. I've got 3 questions for you. As we round third base, we got 30 seconds left in the show. I got 3 questions for you. The first, what is survival to you?
To me, survival is overcoming the obstacles that you've been through and helping somebody else.
That's right. What is success to you?
Success to me is being spiritually rich. I could care less about how much money you have. But like reading your word and talking to God and asking him for direction, that's spiritual richness that nobody can take from you. When God leads you where you need to go, can't nobody take that from you.
That's right. What is greatness to you?
To me, greatness is being able to help each other.
That's right.
That's important.
That's right. Everybody get your crown emojis ready. Everybody get your crown emojis ready. Here on America's Next Motivator, we give people their crowns. Naomi Williams, I'm letting you know that I've listened to your story today. I love how you absorbed your surroundings, the leadership, the adversities that you saw people face it, and now you synthesize it into a message, a ministry for our people. I love that. I'm giving you your respect today while you're here with us. And I'm giving you a crown today while you're still alive to receive it. Ladies and gentlemen, put your crown emojis into the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, put your crown emojis into the chat. Put your crown emojis into the chat. We are letting you know, letting the world know that you, Naomi Williams, you are America's Next Motivator.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks for stopping by today, all right?
Thank you. Bye.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Each and every episode of America's Next Motivator is going to have something here for you. All you got to do, just like you did today, stop by and pick it up.